Hello and welcome. It's me, Marls44, and welcome to this One Piece discussion about the villains of One Piece and what's been happening recently with them. So of course, as you can tell, it's gonna be a little bit of spoilers, not too many, but just a smidge. So if you don't mind hearing like just a smidge of it, and go ahead and continue watching at your own risk. But anyways, villains of One Piece. Man, it's super interesting right now what One Piece has been doing with its villains, especially like recently with the last like 10-ish chapters. But just in general, it's very, very interesting what like One Piece has done with villains, because a lot of series that I've watched, you know, you beat the villain of that arc, they die or they get thrown in jail or something, and they might come up one more time as like if they're dead, like maybe a backstory, or if they're in jail, maybe something like, oh, you go to talk to them about something that, you know, you need help on that relates to whatever is going on, and the reason you ask them is because they know information about, you know, the person you're trying to stop or something like that. But what I really like that One Piece has been doing, and this is just a general discussion as you can tell, I really like how One Piece has kind of not reintroduced their villains, but how One Piece has brought the villains back, and it's kind of like he's building, how Oda's been building them up to be very important still, even after they've been beaten. And I'm talking about like Lucci came into Egghead and he fought against Luffy, and now other stuff is going on. I'm not gonna say what, of course, but Lucci's relevant again in some way. He has some importance now, and Kaku's there too, and he has importance too. Not as much as people like Crocodile though, who like doing crazy shit right now, I'm sure. Like he's got a plan. I'm sure he's fucking got a plan. That dude is scheming, and I love it. I love how he is going to be so important again, where the first big arc, the first saga we had involved him and Luffy beat him, and now he's still going to be super important on top of, you know, he's part of someone else's crew who is going to be very important, I'm sure. And it's just crazy to look at it. Enel, because of the cover pages, you know, back. This isn't spoilers for Enel, because the cover pages are things in the manga that we don't really get to see in the anime, unfortunately. And they're just like one page that kind of give you some information of what's going on with other characters. And this was back in like, I don't remember what saga, what like arc. It might have been Water 7. It might have been like Hody. I don't know. Somewhere like around there, I think. But Enel went to the moon and found like what he was looking for ish. And he found like all these like creatures that he befriended and turned back on with his fruit, because lightning fruit. But you could tell the way Skypiea ended, well, the way Enel left, he succeeded in what he was trying to do in a way, because he got to the moon. And because he succeeded, he might be coming back. Now, his like observation hockey is crazy. And not just that, I'm sure he might have gotten better at other hockey too, I don't know. But like, he's going to come back. Everybody expects Enel to come back, because he's been built up to come back. And there are characters who I didn't realize who might have already been built up to come back. Like, we saw Lucci was part of CP0. That was already telling us he's kind of built up to be important again and come back. Crocodile, got out of Impel Down, and he started doing his own thing, of course. Like, we don't really know, but I remember when Luffy got, I can't remember which bounty it was. It was either the bounty after Whole Cake or the bounty after Dressrosa, but you saw like a shot of him in Mr. One, and it was like, oh man, he's up to something. And like, that was That was build up for him being important again, because now he's doing shit and he's gonna do more. And like, I'm trying to be a little vague because obviously we don't know what he's doing, but also I'm being a little vague because I'm not trying to spoil anything. But it's really, really, really awesome and cool, in my opinion, how One Piece has continued to make the previous villains important, like in some way or form. We don't know what's going on with Moria. He could still be alive and he could just be being used right now. And then there are other villains, like, I can't say this one because, well, yeah, but we don't know about a couple villains, and that, you know, things have happened recently-ish. That's all I'm gonna say. Recently enough, I guess, but it's not like super recent. I don't know if Hody is gonna be anything important. I feel like he probably won't, but I feel like the whole Fishman thing might be important. And maybe Hody will be important in some way, because maybe he'll realize something. I don't know. Arlong as well. And like, Gin said he would see Sanji again. Now, I don't know if this is a see Sanji again on the Grand Line, or see Sanji again just in general. Because like, you might see him again like after One Piece ends, like, you know, maybe we'll see like where everybody kind of went and everything. Like what they did after it was all over. Just stuff like that. Like, there's not a lot in the East Blue Saga, of course, that kind of relates to that. But like, I wouldn't really count Smoker as a villain, but he's probably gonna have some importance. Like, I know keeps getting screwed over, but he's probably gonna have some importance. And he's not a villain. He's a good guy, but he's also like, he's part of the Navy and he keeps hunting down Luffy. Of course, at this point, I don't think he's a match at all. But still, it's just super interesting how most of the big important villains in the past have come back up, and they're very important again in some way or form. Because obviously, Crocodile's doing something that's going to be super important later on, and like, it's going to make an impact somehow. Enel's gonna come back. That's going to make a big impact too. Lucci and what's been happening, that's gonna make some kind of impact as well, like it already is. And I'm sure there's gonna be more to it, like a lot more to it with what could happen with Lucci and Kaku, with what's been going on. Like, it's interesting. And that's what I love. And like, even Katakuri, like, there's a good chance like Katakuri leads like the Big Mom pirates somewhere or something, because like, he's in charge of the island right now, and like, he might be relevant for something, for some reason. Moria, as I mentioned, where is he? Is he dead? Is he alive? Is he being just used? And is he going to be important for something? Probably. He's probably being used because he's going to be important for something for Blackbeard. Like, it's just so interesting the way they've been doing this. That's really all I wanted to talk about. I just kind of wanted to talk about how cool that all is. How the villains are still important now, even though they were from previous like arcs, and a lot of them from older arcs. I say a lot of them because there were two I didn't mention, but not from an older arc. It's just crazy. A lot of shows, as I mentioned, don't do things like this. They don't continue to make the villains like relevant in some way, important in some way, and I do really like that One Piece has continued to make these villains important now. And like, okay, they are important to the overall story. It wasn't just something Luffy had to overcome. It wasn't just someone in Luffy's way. It wasn't just like some big bad of an arc. Not just because it was already more than that, but now because they're important later on. There's so much foreshadowing that all of this is coming back, that they're very, very important. and they're going to continue to be important, and I'm very excited for that. I just wanted to discuss about that. Nothing really crazy. If you guys have anything you want to say about that, mention it in the comments below. I will be willing to hear it out, and maybe I missed some stuff. That's why we can talk about it in the comments. Let's do it. But make sure to subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you guys next time.